God damn. I'm gonna try and treat myself as much as I can. Some ASMR for you over here. This, my friend, is a pint. Alright, boys and girls, I'm gonna take you back to a time that is called 2015. So I was hanging out with some of my friends from the other side of the country, and at that point we were just like hanging out, playing some music and chilling out, drinking some beers and stuff like that. Not drinking beers, I was underage, that didn't happen. And then one of my mates started playing Domo 23.
And I never pull back, so I tell my nigga Taco.
And Jonko's Rah Tah Tah the creator.
This nigga Jasper tryna get grown. About 5'7" of his bitches in my bedroom.
I was very, very intrigued by like the very rough and honest and dark lyrics that he was playing with. And of course his voice stood out a lot with this very deep and kind of raspy voice in some way. And it was just very different from all of the rap that I'd heard at that time. I got hooked and I started listening to a lot of Tyler the Creator. So then I was exploring the likes of, you know, like Goblin and Wolf and Cherry Bomb and stuff like that. Then come, I want to say May of 2017, Tyler drops Flower Boy. And Tyler the Creator very, very quickly... Jesus Christ, sorry about that. Tyler the Creator very, very quickly shoots up to one of my favorite artists ever at that time, because Flower Boy was an album that impacted me a lot. It just kind of changed the way that I look at music and the way I listen to music. It's kind of similar on the impact that Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad had on me as well, because when you see something that is that close to perfect for your own taste, then that kind of sets some sort of an example of how brilliant you can make something. I followed his career very, very intensely. Of course, Igor dropped, and that was incredible. Before that, he was like kind of a weird artist for my friends. Then Igor dropped, and then he started becoming a bit more mainstream. I hate Sounder being like that. And listen to him first. I'm not going to be a gatekeeper of fucking Tyler. But then that, and then of course Call Me If You Get Lost a few years later. And it's been very interesting kind of following that 2-year gap in between all of his albums, because we have, I think Bastard was in 2009, I'm not 100%. But then you had Goblin in 2011, Wolf 2013, Cherry Bomb 2015, Flower Boy 17, Igor 19, and Call Me If You Get Lost 21. So in 2023, I was waiting for the new album to drop, the new Tyler project. Then he drops Call Me If You Get Lost, the estate sale, which was just pretty much a disc 2 to Call Me If You Get Lost, so just an extension of that with some new songs, some quite cool songs as well. But I wasn't really sure if that was going to be like the replacement for the album that was dropped that year or not, so I was a bit confused about it. Listen to it, and I mean, I enjoy a lot of like Dogtooth, What a Day, and Sorry Not Sorry, and Wharf Talk is like pretty much the 4 songs that I like. The rest of the record didn't necessarily speak to me that much. It didn't really inspire me that much, and definitely not in the same way that Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost, and Flower Boy have. But then I was thinking that was gonna be the album for that year, because of course the year ended and he didn't drop anything new. So then I was thinking that we were gonna wait until 25 for him dropping something new. But then he's released Chromakopia now. It's interesting because this to me is a very, very good sign. Because my theory then is that he dropped Call Me If You Get Lost, the estate sale, because he would not have Chromakopia out in time. So then he bundled up all of these other songs that he had done as maybe like B tracks or something like that for Call Me If You Get Lost that didn't make the final cut. And then he bundled those together and released that so that there would be some project that year to kind of keep to the 2-year pattern. So I think that the estate sale was released because he wasn't satisfied with the state that Chromakopia was in at that point. And to me, that's a really good sign, because that means that he is really, really trying to make the best album he possibly can. Now, I'm gonna sit here and drink a beer and eat a muesli bar, because I don't have time to make food right now. Now, I did, of course, see the teaser of Saint Chroma teaser that he released on Instagram. And then he also released Noid and that video, and that was interesting. I'm curious how they're gonna play into the full pattern of the album and like the storyline of that over there. All right. Gotta contain myself. Track number 1, Saint Chroma, or Station Chroma. I'm actually not 100% sure.
You are the light. It's not on you, it's in you. Don't you ever in your motherfucking life dim your light for nobody. Chromakopia.
Yeah, this is what we saw on Instagram. This is an interesting beginning. That thing in the background, now that you heard that by itself, it almost sounds like someone has screamed and then they have like auto-tuned it in a way and like pitched it somehow. Oh man, okay, this is gonna be very interesting. I need to hear what it was that they said in the beginning again. Oh, I got goosebumps, I'm so excited! Ah!
Goddamn, sit still, that's right.
Dude, it is so difficult to hear what he's saying. Wait, let me check. Are there actually lyrics on? Oh yeah, this is the Daniel Caesar feature in it. Dude, there are so many elements to the production of this. That's beautiful. So fucking Nazi, man.
Okay, I adjust the box with a lighter under it. I keep the light on or do I gracefully bow out? So we broke. Inside, can you feel that fire? Inside, can you feel that fire?
Whoa, that was first track, Saint Chroma. It's a really, really strong intro track. I talked to a lot of my friends about this. I really value the intro track a lot, kind of giving an introduction to the general vibe of the song. And I like the, I don't even know what you call it, but it sounds like marching. I mean, you have people marching in the promo material when it was that he released the teaser for this on his Instagram. You had like people marching in line. But it's also interesting when it is that you hear like the singing, can you feel the light? And he's also talking about, should I keep the light on or bow out or something like that. I don't know if it is that the light is like a limelight, so maybe he's talking about like his artistry or his feeling as a public figure, which then would also make sense leading into Noid later when he's talking about kind of the backsides of having the celebrity status that he has right now. I really like the sound of it. I mean, my first impression when hearing this, it's very reminiscent of Cherry Bomb, but with a more mature and concentrated approach, if that makes sense. Next track is Rah Tah Tah. I'm in the ghetto. Okay, sorry, I'm not, yeah.
Ain't never met no one who talk like that. And if you hang up on a nigga, bitch, I call right back. Yeah, the bitch, I call right back. To the grave. Someone text Zendaya, she's my favorite cause she hit me up.
Someone text Zendaya, she's my favorite cause she hit me up. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Someone texts her, she's my favorite because she texted me. Okay.
The bed top bunker, the boy got thumpers. I'm a bona fide. Hey T, why you acting hard? I'm like David P.
Okay, alright.
Nigga, bitch, I make the city truck.
This is a quite nasty flow, actually. Oh, I love this break.
Cash shit don't cost enough. 20 diamond on where you sleep at. Never tell them niggas or those women where you breathe at. My ex is still the biggest out the city after Kenny. That's a fact now. She ain't never met no one who talk.
Okay, interesting. Biggest out the city after Kenny, that's a fact now. He's then acknowledging that Kendrick Lamar is the biggest rapper in the world, right? And him saying that he's the biggest one after Kenny. That's interesting, because I mean, that might be shooting a little bit at Drake as well after everything that's happened now in the past, isn't it?
Because niggas weird and really bums. I'm paranoid now because niggas weird and really bum.
Oh yeah, okay, this is them probably leading into Paranoid. It's just very fun on like his later projects. His albums started to mesh so much in between more regular soul music or R&B music and then transitioning into like hip-hop, rough rapping like we used to title it from the older days, just a little bit more polished and a bit more concentrated, I want to say. Track number 3, we then have Noid. And I fucking love this beat, by the way. Things flew out of order. Dude, yeah, this beat is fucking nice. Again with that moshing sound and the hoo. I'm still very curious what language this is, you know? I am actually quite a fan of this track because I feel like it's evolving so much as it goes in between different chapters of the heavenly echoes in between the very like rhythmic beat of doo-doo. And like the fucking alarm in the background that almost is like an impending doom or some sort of siren of some kind.
Eyes glued to the rear view, rather double back than regret hearing pew pew.
Rather double back than hearing pew pew. Yeah, that's an interesting line.
Whatever you do, keep to yourself, keep your business to yourself. Don't even trust these motherfucking accountants because they will try to get.
It's just interesting hearing like in the lyrics and the music, I feel like it's all kind of just representing different kinds of paranoia. His flow here is really, really nice. Paranoid. Yeah, he sounds pretty paranoid, doesn't he? I don't know if it is that we're kind of being... If it's going to be like concept album that is following a narrative. Because the thing is, it kind of plays into us following Tyler, the Creator's character of him going to this kid who was being the edgy kid but not really respected in the rap game. Then with Flower Boy and Igor, he was respected in the rap game quite a bit. And then the paranoia, that's kind of like representing that side of the celebrity life where it is that you have people running up to you. And I mean, as you saw with Io in the music video as well, where it was that she was running up with a camera and like freaking out like crazy fan. And then also the camera switching from a phone camera to a gun in the middle of the video. Kind of representing, you know, how we heard with Stan a few years ago when Eminem was speaking about like these crazy fans, you know? I just really fucking love the beats of like, zoom. I just think it's a really, really cool instrumental that they have around it. Track number 4, we have Darling I.
Don't ever tell no bitch you love her.
Oh my god. This is so fucking vibey. This is just not at all what I expected, but this vibe, oh my god, wait, this instrumental is amazing. Oh, that's it.
I draw my beam in the summer when I'm ready to drink time. See monogamy, that shit is not for me. One option for everybody, don't you lie to me.
Monogamy, yeah, that's not for me. Okay, interesting.
It's not perfect, so how can I get everything from one person?
T is not perfect, so how can I get everything from one person? I don't know, that's just very interesting of like the idea of if I can get everything from one person, then that person gotta be perfect. But I can't be with a person that is perfect because I'm not perfect myself. And that's kind of the justification that he's doing in his head for maybe not necessarily cheating, but just the idea of being with other people, you know?
Crib, I'm thinking 2 kids until I get infatuated with a new bitch. But when that gray hair finally comes,
I really like this vibe.
everybody's different, you know? It's not just sex.
I just fucking realized. I've recognized the beat from like a sample or something. That was fucking doing Drop It Like It's Hot. Is that what I'm hearing in the background? Or maybe it's just a sample of that specific clicking. Because also, there's something about the beat that reminds me of like old school Justin Timberlake somehow. I don't know if I'm just hearing things, but dude, this vibe is so fucking nice. I mean, I know it's released in fucking, what is it, late October, but I feel like this during like summer is gonna be such a vibe. Like driving with a roof down on a car or something like that. Oh, I like this song. Okay, transparency is key, be honest. So it sounds like the track is narrated from the perspective of someone who is falling in love with someone but has severe commitment issues or issues with monogamy or something like that, or like attachment issues, you know? It's also funny because at some point I think I heard someone referencing T is falling in love. So it's kind of as if talking about it from a third person perspective in some way. Interesting. Because, yeah, it's probably talking about someone who is kind of like vibing with someone who feels like they're falling in love, which is why it's shaped like this love story. But then, I mean, it might be overanalyzing, but having like the actual instrumental be so soft and emotional and warm somehow, but having the sample taken from like a pimp gangster rap player song, you know? Having that kind of locked in the background somehow. I don't know, that might be drastically overanalyzing. Track number 5 is titled Hey Jane. Maybe that's a play on Hey Jude or something like that, we'll see.
Always, always, always wear a condom. Don't trust me.
Hey Jane, we got the news and I know what to do.
Okay, this is did he say I got the news and I didn't know what to do? Fucking hell, in that case.
This ain't about kinfolk, it's our decision with a small window. I wanna jump out, but if you wanna stay in the justified, I fucked up, I'm stressed out, I'm dead inside, but hey Jane.
I mean, this is almost giving me some of the same vibes as someone who is kind of doing a love declaration to someone and just trying its most to find every type of common ground or every type of thing in common. It's just like, yeah, we both have long legs, we both have curly hair, both our fathers left, you know, like as someone doing like a sales pitch for a relationship.
Change all the heaviest emotions in the back, no strings with our tongues wet. We got a good foundation to have kids with, or maybe it is, maybe it's not, just not yet.
Wait. Now he's mentioning a lot of stuff of like heavy commitment. We're like talking about kids and stuff like that. And then the beginning is saying always, always, always wear a condom. Is this some type of case where it was that there's some talks of accidental impregnation or something like that happening over here? Because that's crazy in that case.
Yeah, maybe this is a blessing in disguise, not a regret. Look, Jane, it's your choice.
He impregnated Jane. It's your choice at the end of the day. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Okay, so, he got a bitch pregnant. Oh, man. Oh, okay, so maybe this isn't some sort of like, when I was mentioning like a sales pitch of becoming in a relationship, maybe this is him doing the argumentation or the kind of the pros and cons in his head of either keeping or not keeping this child. Jesus.
Hey, T, we got the news and I forgot how to breathe.
Oh, and then we hear it from the fucking opposite perspective, Jane and T. And then there was a news reference there again that I didn't hear in the beginning. We got the news and I forgot how to breathe. What was it that he said in the beginning? Is that some reference or something?
Hey, T, how would you feel if we kept it a secret? My ovaries might not reset.
Yo, bitch said, how do you feel about keeping this a secret? My ovaries might not reset. That does not feel like a good argument to keep a child. Like, hey, maybe we should keep it. I might not be able to, like...
I was 24 when... Look, I don't want to go through that experience again.
Wait, that was interesting. Just praying to God I might get my period again. I was 24. And then she cut herself off. And then said, whatever, I don't want to go through that again. Maybe she had like... either an abortion or a miscarriage or something similar in the past. This is a really interesting story, you know.
But I don't need to stress, I can do this alone. My mom did it, your mom did it, this ain't a pride thing. The London and avoid any static between us. No need to make it hard like a capsule. I am too. It was so hard for me to tell you to say, man, anytime you get near me, my body has a clock and I don't know what it be. Emotions, T, no matter the decision today, I just want us to be cool either way. No pressure.
Man, okay. It's interesting of like how the hey T part towards the end was kind of ramping up. My boobs are getting bigger and everything like that. Maybe that's kind of like ramping up in like the hormones and the emotions that some women can go through during pregnancy. Because that's almost hinting towards that this is something that actually did happen, you know? That this is something that happened whilst Tyler had the stardom. The grand scheme of like the album perspective, maybe this is also talking about one of the side effects to stardom in a way, when it is that you're going on tours and you're having those stereotypical tour experiences of like getting together with some type of groupie or a fan and then accidental pregnancy happens from that. As a track, it reminds me a little bit of Wilshire from Call Me If You Get Lost, because in the way that it's like, it's a really interesting story to listen to. It's not necessarily something that interests me that much sonically, and as a song, it's not something that I'm gonna go and bop around to that much and replay that much, but it's a very interesting track to like hear through the story every now and again, same as it was with Wilshire from Call Me If You Get Lost. Also interesting with the whole thing of, you know, the story of an accidental pregnancy and them talking back and forth what to do. Next track is called I Killed You. All right, color me intrigued.
Go round and round, you do blow out, go round and round and round. I gotta work, I gotta up on me, I gotta leave, bitch, I killed you. Your natural state is threatening to the point that I point at myself as...
Stop! Jesus Christ! What the wait, what the Why did it start off so light? Wait, I gotta hear that beginning again.
Round and round, the 3-6 break, go round. I gotta work, I gotta eat. If they see you on top of me, I gotta leave, bitch, I killed you. The escaping them routes, right on the scalp, bitch, I killed you. Taking you out, it's not a game, we used to pick you, cause you was a simple berries and oils, your nature.
This production is nuts. The thing is that you start off with a freaking carousel, and then the instrumental is building up, and you're having like the more heavy and more intimidating bass and drums in the background with the fucking, what is that, like a harp or something in the back, like doom 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 doom. Whoa, this production is really crazy. I don't get what he's talking about. Like, what's the narrative over here? Bitch, I killed you. What the fuck? Wait, what? Huh? Okay. Jeez.
We used to pick you, cause you was a simple berry. I filled you up with chemicals, forced you to relax, you was
production of this track is fucking insane, bro. These drums are crazy, you know. Okay, that's definitely gonna lead into the next track. It was like, it's being so calm with the doom, 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 doom. And then you hear like this horn, almost as if an alarm is going off and someone is screaming, run.
I'm sorry, Dawn, but you're gonna have to run again. Run!
Are we entering like the new magic wand of Chromakopia or something like that? Next one is called Judge Judy. I feel like I recognize that name. The production is crazy. When it comes to like the actual thematics of the song, I know he's mentioning a lot of general black traits like the curly hairs and the combs. I fucking adore the production of it. It's going so many different directions all over the place. Especially the ending of this as well gets very interesting, where you could hear like kind of the harmonic, the do 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 do, and then you kind of hear the siren coming in and the run. I'm not sure I'm prepared for what's gonna come next. Fucking hell. Okay. All right. Well, that was I Killed You. So now we're gonna move into the next one. This is then track 7 called Judge Judy. I think I actually want to hear the transition in this fuller, so I'm going to rewind it a tiny bit, and there we go. Or color me surprised.
I met this girl named Judy at the cafe on my way. Her breast was in her chest and she had curls that hit her face. Her legs were Eiffel Tower, I could tell her daddy black. Peanut butter jelly toasted in her lap.
I could tell her daddy black.
So I won't judge Judy.
I won't judge Judy. Okay.
Asking what she into, she told me lead the way. Ink around my face, I don't want nothing in return. Your body counting, who you fuck is not my concern.
Yeah, that's a reference to Dogtooth in it. This is interesting, kind of Tyler meeting someone called Judy, and I mean she's clearly very inexperienced. Tyler's then saying like, I ask her what she into, she says lead the way, and I won't judge Judy, right? Oh, that transition is nice. Oh my god, the instrumentals is beautiful.
She's just like me. This past year has been rough. It spread it to my head.
Past year's been rough, it spread it to my head. Has she got cancer?
I'm wishing you the best. Yes, thank you for not judging.
What are these instrumentals? That moaning in the beat is so interesting. Okay. Judy's character sounds like someone who was always quite reserved and didn't really dare to do much, and maybe hadn't even been sexually active before. And her being diagnosed with cancer is kind of a push to, you know, like go out and live your life in some way. So then that was kind of her pushing herself out and daring herself to do all of these things. She just then sent a letter to Tyler, and apparently she's passed away. Shit. Was not at all what I was expecting from the transition from the last song to this one, but damn. Alright, track number 8 is Sticky.
Poppin' that shit, get your hit quick fast.
Nigga from the zone. Knock, 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 knocking at the door.
Lit bitch, steps out the pop shit. Glass full, niggas want that.
Let it be, niggas say I ain't the guy.
Sticky situation, discombobulation. Call me red-handed, palms.
Is that Lil Wayne?
Standing like ovation on business occupation. Dripping conversation, got a whisper conversations.
Oh, this instrumental is sick.
Better find a mop, it's getting sticky.
Nigga sour. I could fit 10,000 in these trousers. But if pillow talking, stay fucking who I wanna. Okay.
I've always talked about this because Tyler just has a way of producing that appeals to me so much, because I like the inserts of tiny things in songs. The insert of just that tiny thing that shows up once and then never comes back. The horn that he sticks in over here. I love that horn, I love that. Better find him up, it's getting sticky in this bitch. I feel like sticky must be a reference or like a metaphor for something. I mean, you know, I always like getting Lil Wayne on a track, but why did you have to put it in for like 4 bars? Well, not even that, like 2 bars or something like that. That's, yeah, weird. I feel like sticky is a reference to something or a metaphor for something. But no, I mean, again, the production of all of these songs are absolutely insane, going off in all different directions, and the adding of the horn going da, 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 da. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Track number 9 is Take Your Mask Off.
Big guns, what you got, Slat, and pop back at the ops, A little middle class money every Christmas legit. Family trips, I be bound to one day hit a switch. You ain't wanna be validation from the dumb and confused. Now you facing 5 to 10 cause you had something to prove. Let's talk about it.
It's so interesting. This is not at all what I expected from this album. The teaser of Chromakopia with the mask and everything is giving off the vibes of dark synthy side of Igor, for example. But then he's coming up with these like soft love songs. I don't get me wrong, I'm here for it. I'm fucking here for it. It's just not at all what I expected.
You make these folks think you got something to teach, like you ain't lying. Gotta hide how you live, what you really enjoy. So got a wife, got a kid, but you be fucking them boys. Sick of all the shame.
Okay, well, I mean, I thought originally it was like a gangbanger, I think, but now he's talking like Preacher Man, and like he's gay. Oh wait, maybe he's talking about 2 different characters. Wait, okay, wait, let me hear that again. Okay, yeah, and then it's from a different perspective. Now he's talking about someone who is deeply religious and is kind of repressing their homosexuality. Got a wife, got a house and a family, but they're still out fucking dudes. And then they're back on that religious shit as soon as you come. Damn, that's a bar, you know?
Big ass house that's on the hill, big ass wheels in the garage, 3 cute kids that's in your arms, your husband just made.
Yeah, okay, so it's telling it from a few different perspectives. You first had the gangbanger, then you had the religious man, and okay, now it's something else. Someone with 3 kids, big ass house on the hills, okay?
Then gone, mama, your first name, your last one got changed, they dream about your next.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, so this is probably someone who was confined to the idea of being a stay-at-home mother in some way. They let go of their dreams, their personality is gone. It's also a crazy line of, mama, your first name, last name got changed. That's crazy. This is interesting because now he's told three stories, all from different versions of the perspective of kind of putting up a facade or like a alter ego for the for some exterior power in some way. So someone who was doing stuff that it doesn't necessarily align with his heart, but in the name of religion. And also someone who has probably grown up with the wrong role models and resulted into like gang violence, even though they came from like a middle class home. And then someone who has been confined to be a stay-at-home mother, even though that they had, I mean, it sounds like they had like a promising career or something like that. I'm wondering if he's gonna do a final perspective on how that relates back to Tyler. Maybe they all do in some way.
No costume. You don't ever have to lie to kick.
You ain't gotta lie to kick it. Yeah, I get you, Tyler. I get you, Tyler.
$10 million invested, no justifying that. Trying to sell them weird ass clothes, nobody buying that.
Okay, so when he's talking about like tool won't work, pain in your chest, when he's talking about like the idea of getting old. I don't know. It's something with aging in some way. I don't know. I don't really get this one.
To seek it, but I'll lose a bet. Your respect won't get given till we posting your death. It's clear.
I don't really get that last one though. I don't really know what that refers to. But I like the idea of at the end of every perspective he says like let's talk about it. It's obviously a song about like calling out people's hypocrisy or their facades that they're putting on that isn't really true to themselves, and they're not being honest with both themselves and the world around them. And him capping off every story with, let's talk about it. Let's start actually having a dialogue of these facades that we put up for ourselves. So track number 10 is called Tomorrow, which is interesting because if you go like throughout time on Tyler's albums, on Wolf, you had the one that was like Bimmer, Party Isn't Over, and a few other tracks. On Cherry Bomb, it's Fucking Young / Perfect. On Flower Boy, it's 911 / Mr. Lonely. On Igor, it's Gone / Thank You. On Call Me If You Get Lost is Sweet / I Thought You Wanted to Dance. So it's always been a double track and a long one. Here it's just called Tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see. It's only 3 minutes as well. Okay.
My mother's hands don't look the same. The children, it brings me stress because
I have never heard Tyler sing like this before.
all the children, it brings me stress because time wait on me. I'll be fine. Don't you worry about tomorrow.
You niggas get too attached to hear it, fear it, face clear, few wrinkles on my spirit. Now cousin, this ain't no tubbing.
I'll be fine.
I don't get this. He's talking about like having grandkids and then saying don't you wait on me. What? Oh, hey, these trumpets are nice though. This album is way more jazzy than I ever would have expected, you know. It's also soft in a way, which is so weird because I feel like tracks like Paranoid and Saint Chroma, like the stuff that was in the promo, was giving off a totally different vibe. Number 11 is Thought I Was Dead, which I'm pretty sure has had a... I think there's been some drop of that on YouTube. I haven't seen it yet though, so it's gonna be interesting.
Pants like the crack of a twins. I need some space like the back of a Chloe. Me and my bitch and your pampers.
Oh, this production is nuts, man. Fucking hell! Oh my god, this production is nuts! Wait, is that Schoolboy Q? Bro, the horns in this production is nuts.
I wanna be found. I don't wanna be down. I don't wanna be found.
Bro, the fucking horns all over the place is crazy. It's interesting that he keeps repeating, I don't wanna be found. Because one of the big lines from New Magic Wand on Igor is, I wanna be found passenger in your car. And now he says, I don't wanna be found. Pull up old tweets, pull up old t-shirts. Man, I moonwalk over that bitch. Bro said, I got too much drive, I'm a terabyte. This man. Oh my god, this is my favorite. Ah, that's my favorite. Oh, what a tune. My god. Bro, the horns in that beat and the way that it's like the production is just evolving so much throughout the... Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. That's my favorite song. That's fantastic. I love it. When he keeps repeating, they thought I was dead. Maybe that's referring to what I was talking about in the beginning, that he only released an extension of Call Me If You Get Lost in 2023 instead of an actual new album, you know? Track number 12 is titled Like Him.
Every time I look at you, I swear to God.
What the fuck is going on? What's this alien ass sound? What the fuck? What the fuck? This is just not the instrumentals I was expecting. What the fuck? There's so many like almost alien-like sound with the you're like the, oh my god, I don't even know how to describe them. I feel like he's talking about his dad, no? Because he's talking about, do I look like him and I feel like I'm chasing a ghost, Mama, I don't know who I am, or I don't know who he is. Dude, this man can produce. Yeah, do I look like him? It's about his dad.
It was my fault, not yours, not his. It was my fault. I'm sorry. You know? It was my fault. So don't hold that against him because it was my fault. Just, you know, forgive me.
Okay, that was a very interesting bookend of what I'm assuming is Tyler's mother saying like, it wasn't your fault and it wasn't his fault, it was mine. That she's kind of blaming herself in that whole situation. But it's interesting with this moment it is that the entire track is kind of it's titled like him, and you know how that looks in a relationship between son and mother of feels like there's a part of him that's missing and he feels like he's chasing a ghost because he doesn't know his father, so there's a part of him that he doesn't necessarily understand. Also his mother telling Tyler it wasn't your fault and it wasn't his fault, it was my fault. It's quite a powerful one. But it was also interesting seeing Tyler sing like that, because this is also interesting, having been someone who has followed his career for a long time, I know that he fucking hates his voice, which is why on everything from like all the way up until like Call Me If You Get Lost almost, you can always hear like pitching on his voice when he's singing. And having a track like this where he's singing high pitch but just without any altercations, from what I can hear at least, it almost feels like character growth somehow. Anyway, track number 13, second to last song, is titled Balloon. What's this fucking Wreck-It Ralph type of music?
Yeah, we ain't talking to your dumb ass. You could be a millionaire and still be a bum ass like A cups. No legs, pretty when they wake up. Hi, bitch, I want my own dick. I don't need your vibes.
Bitch, I want my own dick. I don't need your vibes. Damn.
I hear this bitch out like balloon.
I can't help but feel like the instrumental sounds so much like a loading screen to a game. Genuinely, I feel like this is played in the background of when we go into Sugar Crush game and Wreck-It Ralph. I air this bitch out like a queef. Fucking hell. Jesus, alright then. This feels in some way like, well, I mean, it's the second to last track, so it feels a little bit like a bookend and a very optimistic ending that's lifting it up of like, don't stop. And the work ethic and ambition that Tyler and, who's this lady? Duet Chi? I don't know, never heard about. She rose to prominence on TikTok. Alright then. It feels like kind of an optimistic bookend endpoints, this part. Alright, and now we come to the last track, titled I Hope You Find Your Way Home. Let me guess, I hope you find your way home. Your way home. I'm an artist now. Oh my god,
My shit spinning like a ceiling fan. No alcohol, no killing me. I wasn't ready, and she wanted it with me. I'm talking heavy. Then we had to. Maybe I should before I'm too old and washed up like dishes.
Too old and washed up like dishes.
Shit, set the motherfucking wire, did a backflip, and if I shoot the club up, it's a black bill.
Yeah, shit. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, bro.
I wonder if that was a call from like a friend or his mom or something like that. As always, I love the production a lot. Synth is fantastic. That's it. All right. That was Chromakopia by Tyler, the Creator. God damn. I've got myself a lemonade because I need to calm down. It's interesting thinking about it because like just looking at the tracks that we're going through, Said Chroma feels a little bit like a mixture of a lot of previous Tyler sounds. I especially feel like it's very reminiscent of Cherry Bomb in a lot of ways and almost a more polished version of Cherry Bomb in some way because of course Cherry Bomb is notoriously an album that was all over the place and very unconcentrated, right? And I think it's interesting also with Tyler kind of talking about this whole thing of like, do you see the light? The light comes from inside and kind of, using light as a metaphor for, the spotlight, but also the passion for the music and whether it is that he should continue with his music or not. And that kind of plays into the general theme of masks that's playing throughout the entire album. And I also feel like the track right after, Rah Tah Tah, is... I'm sorry, Tyler, that's such a cringy fucking name. I'm dying inside. I feel like that track, kind of the personification of Tyler with the Saint Chroma mask on, where it's talking a lot about his wealth and, fucking bitches. It feels very reminiscent of the immature, like, Goblin and Wolf times of Tyler, the Creator, right? Then also leading into Paranoid, where it is that, the mask is slipping a little bit and you can start to feel a little bit of, like, the insecurities that's coming from within and kind of the backsides that's coming with his very luxurious, wealthy, and famous lifestyle that is living right now. With Tyler, he's not someone that is usually spotted around in public. He has his concerts, but is not really in public in the same degree. He's kind of invisible when he's not making public appearances in concerts or interviews or something like that. I can imagine that like what he's talking about in Paranoid must be a lot bigger reason for that. And it's quite funny because in that video of where it is that Io's running up to him, then we see someone walking by, like talking on the phone, or walking by like this, and you see that his flashlight is shining as he walks by, meaning that he's probably faking being on his phone and filming Tyler walking by as well, which I thought was quite a funny detail. But just in general, when it is that Io's being so erratic with the phone right up in his face and then it changes over to a gun, kind of signifying the obsessed fans and how they can react in a lot of instances, which is probably a big reason why it is that Tyler feels very paranoid being a public figure and he's like, I can't even eat alone and stuff like that. Now, Darling I is a track that I find quite interesting because it feels like a more matured version of the love that was depicted on Igor. Because I felt like the love on Igor was a very black and white depiction of the desperation and almost psychotic nature of his jealousy that he was showing towards this other person on Igor. But it's quite funny because his jealousy in that one came from that Igor's partner was with someone else and was like falling in love with this other girl, and then that's when he goes crazy, and that's then obviously the breakout of New Magic Wand in that on Igor, where it is that he just loses his fucking mind in him, right? And I find it quite interesting because here it feels like it kind of shows how that was very unjust in that moment, because Tyler himself is a person that doesn't really fit in with monogamy in that way. So he's someone who doesn't really like to be bound down by one person and like to gain experiences from multiple different people rather than just one person, right? So then if it was that he had this personality and then in the Igor story he's talking from someone who's very jealous of someone else, then that ultimately shows a big contradiction in there. So I find Darling I to be a very interesting example of where it is that he kind of learnt from that whole experience on Igor, and now he realizes that he's just not someone who is meant to be committed to just one person, Now, Hey Jane is also a very, very interesting track, and I have a feeling that it's going to be the big talker of the album and the album discussions and everything. And it also gets very interesting given the themes of like mistrust and relationships that's being played throughout the album. Because in Hey Jane, it's telling the story of Tyler and this Jane girl who gets an unwanted pregnancy in between them, and how they choose to deal with this whole thing. So it's also written from the two perspectives. So at first you get the story of Hey Jane, but then you also get the story of Hey T. Jane is then answering back, and we see it from two different perspectives. Tyler privately has been someone who's always been very vocal about not wanting kids, and in the same way that he doesn't work well with monogamy, he would not probably work well as a father as of right now, because he still has a drive to kind of experience the world in a lot of ways and get a lot of knowledge and experiences from a bunch of different people, right? And ultimately having a kid would break that as of right now. But that also becomes very interesting in that Tyler himself is someone whose father left from a young age, and apparently the Jane character was as well. I mean, he's spoken very openly about that before, even as far as 11 years ago on his album Wolf and the track Answer. Then that whole song is written from the perspective of him trying to reach out to his father and pretty much just roasting the shit out of him. I still remember the opening of that line being,
"Hey Dad, it's me, I'm Tyler. I think I be your son. Sorry, I called you the wrong name. See, my brain split and Dad isn't your name. See, Daggit's a little more fitting."
Which right away is like, holy shit, you know? Now, I Killed You seems to be kind of a metaphor of fighting your own heritage in a way. Because from the way that I read the song, at least, it seems like Tyler is personifying his hair. Because he's talking a lot about like round and round of, you know, curls, and he's talking about like combs and see you on top of me. So, you know, on top of him and on scalp and cover it up and stuff like that. And I think it's just in general a way that he's trying to talk about the way that black people has to kind of suppress their characteristics in America, you know. And then moving into the very, very interesting story on Judge Judy, where he talks about a relationship he's had before. And I mean, there were talks about them kind of clicking right away, and I also read it that there were a lot of implications of inexperience from Judy's perspective, at least, when it is that they were driving his car back to his apartment, and then as Tyler said it himself, we exchanged spit. I asked you what you're into, and she said, lead the way. Kind of an implication of her not really knowing what her sexual preferences are. And then going on to the track, he also mentions towards the latter half of the second chorus, like, she sent me a letter. There's some terminal condition that, I mean, I'm assuming cancer, that's spread to her head, and also her saying, I didn't really live right until I was told what was left. And now we get to the track that's probably going to be the most polarizing one on the album, which is called Sticky, which it doesn't necessarily do it that much for me. I mean, I do really enjoy the Lil Wayne feature for the one bar he had. And there are a lot of really fun elements to the production, but yeah, in general, I don't think it's going to stick with me too much. Yeah. Now with Take Your Mask Off, this I find to be really, really interesting because like he's telling it first from three different perspectives of people that are wearing masks. So there's one that's like a kind of promising kid growing up in a middle class home and even was like in drama class and stuff like that, but ultimately then started going into gang affiliations and was like with face tattoos and doing crimes and everything, and him saying like, we still know where it is that you come from, you know, so kind of that's the mask that he's wearing. But then he also talks about it when he says like preacher man, so it's like a gay priest, which is very interesting. And then he's talking about this, he's never really been comfortable with his own sexuality because of his religious beliefs. Then that it's also told from the perspective where it's just like he's doing everything he can to suppress his sexual orientation. Getting a wife, getting kids, getting a home, but you're still out fucking dudes. And then as Tyler says as well, you're back on that religious shit as soon as you come. And then also talking about like a mother that was being like confined in the marriage in some way. I love the line that the way that he writes as well, mama, your first name, last name they took away, and just or last name you took his or something like that. It was just very interesting. There's like in two regards that your identity is kind of being stripped away from you. Now Tomorrow is very, very interesting to me. There's also an interesting part of this because I mean the track is very much about like him growing up and watching all of his friends around him get kids and settle down in a bunch of different regards. And he also says so himself, whilst it is that you guys have kids, all I have is a Ferrari and some silly suits. Of course, being a reference to how a lot of Tyler's alter egos is often affiliated with his costumes and the clothes that they wear, right? But it's also interesting with the song kind of bookending in with Don't Wait For Me, I'll Be Fine. Almost as a way to say that, yeah, I'm not in the same sphere that you guys would expect me to be, and I'm not on the same level as you guys are, but I'm kind of fine with it. I have a totally different lifestyle than you guys, and it's kind of mirroring a lot of the messages that he's had before on like Find Your Wings on Cherry Bomb. He's been talking about that on Flower Boy a few times as well. But just kind of the idea of find your own path somehow, you know? I mean, it's something that definitely resonates with me as well, because I mean, to get a little bit personal, I'm not now 24 right now. I'm going to turn 25 in March, and most of my friends from high school have started to study in a lot of different regards and their own like paths of building their careers, and some of them are even educated and are working full time, you know? And I mean, I'm here. I mean, there's nothing that says that any path is better than the other. I mean, I definitely have times where I feel like I'm the one that's many, many years behind all of my friends, you know. And, you know, in those instances, tracks like this are quite a nice message to get. Now, Thought I Was Dead is still probably my favorite track on the whole album. He's saying like lacking space like the back of a coupe. I got so much drive, I'm a terabyte. But also just the incredible production of like the heavy bass and those fantastic horns that's going, and the very like rhythmical flow is almost a little bit reminiscent of Okra for me, when he's kind of like flowing in a very straight line, you know. Incredible feature from Schoolboy Q was very, very welcome. I thought he did a very, very good job on that. And also just throughout the tracks, he's talking about a lot of people kind of comparing him to a lot of people that he feels like he's way above, and he always feels insulted. Now, Like Him is another track that also gets very fascinating to me, because again we hear Tyler kind of singing without any altercation to his voice. And this in general gets very, very interesting when you compare him to when you compare this track to the track I mentioned before, Answer from Wolf. Because on Wolf, that was a track that was very rough and aggressive, and he was just pretty much saying slur after curse word towards his father, and then bookending his verses with, but if I ever had a chance to talk to him and call him, then I hope he answers. That's interesting, because that kind of, for me, becomes a little bit of a peek in under the mask. That he has like this rough exterior, but then towards the end, he kind of, that we see like the mask slips a little bit, and we see like, well, I still feel kind of hurt about it, and I would like some sort of closure with him, you know. But then in this one, he's talking about it from a way more emotional standpoint. Always has had a hole in his chest in a way, and when it is that his mom compares him to his father all the time, it always feels like there's a part of him missing, you know. But then it also caps off in a very interesting way, where it is that the mom blames it all on herself, which is something I definitely didn't expect. This also adds a very interesting perspective to the Jane situation, where it is that he is here talking a lot about like the hole that's been left behind because his father left. And here is faced with an opportunity where it is that he either has to go like tie his life down in a way that he never wanted to, or he has to do the same that hurt him so much from when his father left him. Now, the balloon track is interesting to me, because I mean, as I mentioned, it sounds so much like the background music to like a video game adventure. It's a strong song. The lyrics are very strong, with him talking about like his success and how that has kind of shaped his outlook on and his work ethic on life, you know. And that also built into it, having the adventurous sound that it has. Now, the feature, I mean, I think she did a good verse. It just feels a little bit mistimed. It doesn't feel like something that really fits into the second to last song, you know. I mean, the vibe of the balloon track, I think fits over here. I just don't think that her verse fits on this song necessarily. I can't really put words on it too well. Now, ending it off with I Hope You Found Your Way Home, I think is very, very interesting to think about, because I feel like the whole setup of Call Me If You Get Lost was kind of a way where Tyler was, after he had gotten the very solidified image of a staple of the rap and pop music game after Igor, then when we moved on to Call Me If You Get Lost, he was showing off very this lavish and luxurious lifestyle in a lot of ways, with like Hot Wind Blows and with Manifesto and Lumberjack and Corso, and like all of them are kind of building off of this very luxurious, adventurous lifestyle, and he feels so comfortable in that. So it's titled Call Me If You Get Lost. If it is that you guys want to try and live an adventurous lifestyle, we can kind of follow him and his passion and his perspective in a lot of ways. So, you know, Call Me If You Get Lost, I can give you a lot of answers of how this works in a good way. But then we move on to this track, where it's like I Hope You Find Your Way Home, which is him kind of encouraging a lot of people in his surroundings to try and pursue stability. It's a very interesting flip in between those two. I mean, maybe that's a sign of him in Call Me If You Get Lost wanting everybody to be completely without responsibilities and just travel around and do whatever it is you want, you know. And maybe now he's starting to accept a little bit more that the lifestyle that he lives and the adventurous spirit that he has is something that does not work for a lot of people. So then he's kind of thinking like, I hope you guys find whatever it is that is your home. And I mean, a home doesn't necessarily need to mean a physical home. Maybe Tyler is in his home right now with his adventurous lifestyle, right? Now, it is valuable to mention for me as well that with every album I've listened to with Tyler, I have never been crazy about them the first time I heard them. Flower Boy hooked me like crazy, and it took me like 2 days before I realized that it was probably my favorite album ever at the time. I heard Igor and then I thought that like, okay, this is, you know, there's something over here, but ultimately it's a little bit, it's a big step back from Flower Boy, was what I thought. But I mean, it took me like 2 or 3 listen through before I realized the structure and the story that was being told, right? And then I was moving into Call Me If You Get Lost, and took Call Me If You Get Lost I thought was I don't know, it didn't hook me at all in the same way that that Igor did. All of the albums have grown so much on me over time. So all of my feelings on Chromakopia that I have right now is definitely going to change over time. As of right now, the emotional parts of Chromakopia, I think they're interesting to think about, the implications and the story and the themes that are being explored. They don't necessarily hit me that much. I mean, when it is that I'm listening to Gone Gone from Igor, or when I'm listening to I Thought You Wanted to Dance from Call Me If You Get Lost, I get genuinely emotional, you know? I don't have that much with Tomorrow or Hey Jane or and Like Him songs or anything like that. So we'll definitely see how it develops over time. Thought I Was Dead is still absolutely my favorite track. I think it's I like Saint Chroma as an intro, and I like Thought I Was Dead from the energy that those tracks bring. But yeah, it's been fun listening through, and I'm happy that I just you know, I have something that's going to be in my playlist for quite some time, because I'm excited to see how the tracks are going to develop over time with how I feel about them, you know. Thanks for sticking with me and checking out some good new music that's come out, and you know, leave a like, subscribe, and peace. Thanks guys. See you guys.